Hey everybody, this is Darwin right now, the Festival Director Hospitalejo Vega International Film Festival. Today I have a great guest. It's an honor for me. We have Robert Silver, which is the director of Kneeling for Justice, San Francisco Memorial to Fallen Angels. How are you, Robert?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being with us. Actually, Robert, so I can tell, I don't want to spoil, but you're gonna tell me, why do you decide to do Kneeling for Justice? Tell us to everybody.
It's ironic. Kind of like the artist Bob Ross. This was a happy mistake, and it really just it was a moment in time where I knew history was being made by the minute. Right.
Right.
Protests were happening, and fight for justice was happening around the world. This is one time where the world was reunited under a common banner, and being in San Francisco, it's an iconic city, and of course we're known for protests here all the time for something. And I knew this one was unique in particular just due to the consciousness of the people. And as a filmmaker, I felt like, okay, I had the energy, the rage, the passion as the crowd did, but I felt like, okay, I'm not a congressperson. I'm not an activist per se. I was like, all right, what I can do is record history. I could document, literally documentary, right?
Yeah.
I could document. That could be my value I bring to the movement, if you will, to the universal energy, to the cause. So I was like, all right, that's what I could do. So I literally took one of my simple cameras, Lumix GH5. It's a great camera, but it's one of my simple ones.
Great footage.
It's a beast. And I took two lenses, and I didn't even bring a tripod because I thought we'd be doing more marching. So I was like, okay, we'll go rock with this. And I wanted to be small and light and it could fit in a bag, And ironically, all these great stories were being poured out, and the energy in the crowd, it was as if you were in a church, but we're outside. How the silent the crowd was. It was how I filmed it was exactly how I felt during that moment. And it was really, really, I couldn't express it. It was almost as if like I was at a funeral, literally. And their whole message was to be more positive, like, okay, let's celebrate the positive things these folks who had fallen due to police brutality or inequities and so forth, let's try to celebrate them as much as we want to remember them, right? And I thought it was just a unique take, especially since George Floyd wasn't from San Francisco, but yet how that was felt. So that pain, that universal pain. So I like that as well. And when I got home, ironically, when I got home and I was reviewing the footage, I had no clue. I was like, on the BART ride home, which is our rapid transit, like a train. I was like, what the hell am I going to do with this? I thought I was just going to archive all this footage and just be like, hey, I'm so glad I got this piece of history, right? Kind of like JFK driving by, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, right? And then all of a sudden, when I looked at it, it just snapped, and I literally finished it, edited the movie in 24 hours.
That's amazing. So you got this momentum, and then you just went for it, right?
I just said, screw it, whatever. Let's just do this. Obviously, because of COVID, it wasn't like I had tons of, I'm a photographer by trade, so it wasn't like I had a whole lot of gigs at that time. But I was like, let's do this. I'm never going to see this ever again in the streets. I'm going to film everything. And here we go, a happy accident.
So you never thought to make something like this. It just came because of for this, unfortunate situation.
That's right.
You made that because of that in that moment. Wow.
Literally,
amazing.
I was like, I heard on Facebook about the protest. Well, it wasn't even a protest. It was actually a memorial for George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and everyone else. And so, yes, I literally just want to go film and say, what is this event about? I'm curious, but I know I needed to record it. If I was in France with the Yellow Jackets, I would have been out in the streets too, filming, right? And just letting the energy, the passion of the people dictate how this is gonna go, and I'll figure it out later when I'm editing it. How I'm gonna keep it.
Wow. I mean, but this is art, you know, and this is filmmaking. This is pure filmmaking, what you just done with the Kneeling for Justice. So how was that? So you did that in 24 hours, right? You edited the film. You just
I had
went
no
with the
life.
flow.
I just went with the flow. Okay, so when you know you're serving your, I always tell people, you know, serve your purpose. If you're serving that purpose, your passion, the thing you will do for free as long as you could, right? If your bills were all paid, right?
Right.
It's amazing the amount of energy you have, the creative explosions your mind will have, the clarity of your direction will be. It's when we deviate from that. This year, like, I'm humbled to be in your festival. In 1 year, I've made, I just finished another and submitted it to like 7 festivals.
You made
I've
so
done
many,
7
man. I
films.
follow you.
I
You
know.
on fire, you know?
Well, you know, I'm inspired because of film festivals like you that see something in my work. And I tell my producer, I'm like, look, we need to find the next script. We're going to have a meeting next week to do my first full-length drama next year.
Wow.
And I'm editing right now my first full-length documentary. And I say that not to brag, but to show that, like, when you find that spark, I mean, set it on fire. Go with it. Let the woods burn, let the forest burn, let the cities burn. Just spark that passion and just run with it. And who knows what will happen? You might meet somebody in Barcelona. I don't know.
You don't know exactly. Wow, this is amazing. I love the energy, and that's the attitude that we all as filmmakers supposed to have, you know. Because, you know, it's not easy, you know better than me. It's not easy, this business, you know, it's
That's
difficult
right.
and it requires a lot of sacrifice, but I mean, you have to keep pushing. Robert, so you're a writer too, right?
Yeah, I started doing writing. I'm actually in the middle. Okay, so the first full-length documentary, which is in post-production now, I wrote and produced and directed and filmed because it was at the height of COVID. And
Wow.
I wanted to document the Bay Area's shared experience of the COVID pandemic, not just the disease, but the impact of it, like economically, etc. So that one I wrote, and I'm editing it now, and I'm learning how big of a process editing a full-length feature is. But I'm also writing another documentary, which is going to be near and dear to me. It's a great topic that I'm surprised no one has done, that I'm not going to share quite yet until I have made it.
Gotcha.
You know, copyright situations. But it's so I'm in the middle of writing that, and that'll be the first one I'm going to seek funding for. I think it'll garner a lot of interest. The topic is deep, it's relevant, and it needs to be shared. And then I want to explore other things too. I'm a history buff, so like if this pandemic calms down, like we get to Spain, I'm gonna be there for 2 weeks. I'll be at your festival, but I'm gonna be all over with a camera, looking at everything historical.
Nice, nice. And there's a lot, so be ready for that. It's a lot of history
I'm
there.
excited. I'm excited.
Robert, so how difficult is to, tell us now that we have it here. It's interesting. How difficult is to make a documentary? What do you think is the difficult part in a
Making a
documentary?
documentary?
Yeah, because you guys experienced already. What do you think?
I think the most difficult part is to make sure that you're telling a story. In your mind as a creative, we already know the story, but your movie, the outcome of your movie, the end result, your ability as a director is shown whether the viewer understands the point of the story, right?
Right.
In my mind, I'm perfect. I'm great. You know, I'm Spike Lee already. Okay, so you don't get it yet. But your ability as a creative, as a photographer, as a whatever it may be, is can the viewer perceive your story in the way that you see it? Do they see your vision? Do they see your direction? Do they understand why you chose that particular lighting and why the actors, etc.? All the elements that help you push the story along. And I do the same thing. I mean, it's ironic. I only went to Academy of Art, San Francisco Academy of Art for film directing for 6 months for 1 semester.
Wow.
And then I changed my major to music and entertainment business. But that 6 months, I built a photography career, and then I refound my passion for film directing during COVID.
Absolutely, I'm agree with you. What you just say, the first thing you say, Robert, yeah, to tell this story and the viewer can understand is the most difficult part. Absolutely, whatever you do, whether it's film, documentary, I don't care, but this is the most difficult part. Yes, absolutely about that. Robert, so what do you think now that you are doing a lot of stuff, because I follow you and I see you doing, you're on fire, like I told you. What is the difficult part in the 3 stages of a film documentary: pre-production, production, or post-production? What do you think so far for you?
Well, thankfully, I have an amazing number 2. I trust her to be my producer on everything. She's like as organized as anything. Her name's Maribel Mascala.
Great.
I have to give her a shout out.
Great.
She is like having that partner, that friend, wow, is that helpful. So with that said, my perspective now is different. I'm gonna have to say editing is probably the first thing I will pay someone to do for me. How about that?
Me too.
is the edit. Too. I enjoy editing, but sometimes again, you have the script, the storyboard, you got everything laid out. Like, I'm sitting here, I film on Saturday.
Wow.
Saturday. So here's a script for my next short film. And I have everything mapped out, the lenses, the whatever. And then, but so in post-production, it's like, did I get it right? Did I do it? I don't know. It's just too much stress. So post-production will be the first thing. So post-production houses, you can email me. Will be the first thing I will pay someone else to do. I love, trust me, let me share this. I now watch films and am very impressed with editors and how they cut and why they did this. And I respect it so much more. So that will be my thing.
So Robert, about the Kneeling for Justice, the music, I love the music you choose there. Why?
Yeah. Again, this goes back to, okay, so when I was younger, I was a DJ. I couldn't break dance. I couldn't rap. I couldn't do that. But I could sure be a good DJ, and I was. Mm-hmm. And so then that's why I eventually changed my major. I want to be a music producer, and that's why I changed my direction from film directing to music business. So that's what I have my degree, and that's what my large student loan is on. Okay, and so I always loved music and the process of making music. I love art, quite honestly, and I understood when you combined your film and sounds, right? I mean, the sound is in itself its own actor, if you really want to think about it. I should be wearing a turtleneck and a beret. I'm going to get really, really poetic here. But when you introduce sound and music, well, that's sound nonetheless, that is its own character. And that character could either make or break the rest of the crew, or the cast, if you will, right? Sure. And so therefore, it could really make acting, or it can make acting like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And that score, that's right. And that's why those guys are how can I say, recognized and winning their Emmys and Grammys or whatever they win in that field. I'm not sure of that field. Mm-hmm. For sound design and sound engineering, like those guys are really, and ladies are super important to the process. And obviously, this is not a toot a horn, but other film festivals said the same thing. They said, God, you chose some good music. And that was for another film I did. And it was like, yeah, the importance of music. See how subconsciously it communicates to you?
I know the feeling I get from your film, and I'm not going to tell you. What's the feeling you want to get from people? I mean, it's very basic, and not basic, but it's very obvious. But what do you think?
I'm hoping, at least from this film, that the pain, the raw pain that the speakers in the film talked about is a pain that it's a universal pain, because everybody in that crowd came from different backgrounds. There was not one person, you know, everybody was somebody in that crowd. And the silence was because of the pain felt throughout the crowd. And what we're talking about, injustice, we all can relate to injustice in some particular way, right? The Irish has a long history of injustice. We could go to India. We can name a country and everybody's had it, okay? We've all had it in our own ways. You don't have to be white or black. You don't have to be American or from the EU or anything. It's a universal struggle because it's a human struggle. And therefore, the pain is a human pain. When I cry, you cry from the same ducts as I do from my eyes, right? When my nose runs, so does yours from the same place. So that pain that is shared and the justice that is sought for, that they're looking for, is the same kind of justice we're all looking for. And I hope that people could take that away in terms of that pain is my pain. It's our pain.
Wow, amazing. That's what I felt. I tell you with everything with that.
Thank you. Thank you so
I
much.
was like feeling like I want to be there too, you know? That's exactly true. I mean, you did it intentionally. You're a filmmaker, Robert.
Hey, it was, I didn't know what would happen. I had it done and I ran upstairs to my mom and I was like, I finished the movie in 24 hours. I hope this is cool. And she cried when she saw it. So I was like, all right. But I was like, you know what? My mom's always going to cry over my movies. But again, I'm really honored to be a part of your festival and for you guys to even when I get selected, I'm like, right on. And it may not be a solid win, but I'm just like, it's a win to me.
It's a great film. It's a great film. You know about what you said about B-roll. B-roll is so important. You were so right about that. Well, in film, documentary, whatever, get the B-roll. And I say by experience. That's a very good point. Robert, are you coming to Barcelona, right?
Yeah, as long as they let me. I got my passport a few weeks ago, so I'm good. And I'm already planned. I got the budget. I want to be there for 2 weeks. So if I can network, collab with people, I want to network that, like, I'm going to be there I got some awesome, amazing clothes. Trust me, it's not just Europeans that could dress.
Nice.
And I can't wait to have fun and be a tourist and just learn. I know there's a lot more beautiful things outside of America, and I can't wait to embrace it all. So.
Awesome. You're going to love it. Barcelona is going to be great. The festival is going to be good for meeting collaborations, definitely. Robert, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it a lot.
Thank you all.
All right, you take care and stay creative, all right?
Absolutely. Take care.
Robert, thank you.